Okay, hi everybody. I think I'm talking to the converted here. It's in the studio, but this particular presentation is really aimed at um, people who haven't really partaken in salons.
Yeah,
Can you just check? Okay.
should
Can you
have.
all hear me? If you got a yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Just push it my way a little bit.
Can everyone hear Leon speak?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Jay.
Jay can hear. I don't know about everybody else. Okay, the idea is that I'm going to start from the real basics of what you need to do, what a salon is, what you need to do to be able to enter salons, and some pointers as to what is best for entries for salons. Okay. Amongst other things, I'm also going to tell you a little bit about how to save your images in a place that's easy to find and easy to access those images, and how to keep track of what you've done for salons. Because when it comes to salons, and if you make, Des will know, if you put your foot wrong and do the wrong thing and go, how can I say, just don't abide by the rules, it can get quite nasty. So it's really a good idea to just go through some of those things. Okay. All right. I don't profess to know it all. Okay. But I might have some advice that could possibly help and secure authors and acceptance in a salon. So what I'm going to do is try and pinpoint things that are really well worth knowing about when it comes to entering salons and what to look for. Okay, what is a salon? A salon is a photographic competition that is hosted by a PSSA affiliated camera club in South Africa. Some are open to international participants as well, and some are also hosted by international entities. So it's not only South African salons, but you do get international salons as well. All well and good. International salons, I haven't really gone down that route yet. I'm waiting for Natasha Bird to assist us on that group of ours. But when it comes to South African salons, I've had quite a lot of experience there. The object of entering a salon is to achieve acceptances, all right? And hopefully also a certificate of merit, which is the sort of top level of acceptance, and ultimately win a category, get a category winner or a category runner-up medal. There are often 500 to 1,500 entries per category in a salon, and each image is assessed by 3 qualified photographic expert judges. And it's given a score out of 15. Each judge scores out of 15. And these 3 scores added together add up to a maximum score of 45 per image. So, right, 45, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Only 20 to 25% of the images that are submitted achieve a level of expertise to be accepted. So if there were, well, we'll get to some figures just now. Of those accepted images, only around 10% achieve a certificate of merit. So to get a certificate of merit is quite an achievement because your chances are pretty slim. The highest scoring image in is the category winner and receives a PSSA silver medal. And the image achieving the second highest score in the category is the category runner-up and wins the host club silver medal. Okay. 99% of camera clubs in South Africa are PSSA affiliated. So it's PSSA affiliated clubs that can host a salon. Because they are affiliated, they can apply to the PSSA to host a club, host a salon. And any club can only host 1 salon per calendar year. And that runs from 1st of July to the 30th of June. Any camera club member may enter said salons. Judges are not allowed to enter the categories that they are judging. So the judges are experienced judges throughout PSSA. Actually, some are not even PSSA, but they're not allowed to enter a category that they're judging. So if they're judging the Durban salon, for example, and they're judging the mono, they can enter the other categories, but not mono. So it's totally impartial there. If an entrant is a PSSA member, the entry fee is 9 Rand per image. And if they are not a member, the entry fee is 14 Rand an image. So that over a year, if you're entering a lot of images, can really add up. You can really save quite a lot by just becoming a PSSA member. Okay, it costs you money, but at least when you are a member, that does save you money as far as your entries go. Salons generally have 6 PDI, projected digital images, just had to think, projected digital images categories, and some might also have a print or an AV category, audiovisual categories as well. Each salon is different, so you need to read the salon brochures. Of the 6 categories, there's always at least one monochrome category, but there can be more depending on the salon. So some salons will have only one, the open monochrome category, but other salons might have more. And there's a salon coming up fairly soon, Kroonstad, which is only mono. All 6 categories are mono. So you've just got to check what the salon brochure tells you. Okay. Categories can vary considerably, but usually include a mixture across all genres. This includes categories where full editing is allowed and some where editing is limited. Okay, you may enter up to 4 images in any category. So in other words, 6 categories, 4 images each, a total of 24 images per salon. The same image may not be entered in any more than 1 category in any salon. Okay, so you can't enter the same image as an open color and an open mono in the same salon. Every salon is different. Therefore, it is imperative that you read those salon rules carefully, and we'll talk about the salon rules and the brochures shortly. Salon events are advertised on the homepage of PhotoVault, and each one has a salon brochure. Okay, I'll show you those shortly. Download the brochure, which is in PDF format, for each salon you intend entering. Each has a different closing date, which is clearly advertised. So they are usually posted in closing date order. So you can download the categories and just keep track of what I've got a spreadsheet where I list all the salons and all their closing dates. So I can easily see. Don't have to go and open each salon brochure every time. Each salon is different and unique. You must read the rules of each salon. You can't assume that the salon that you entered yesterday is going to be the same as the salon that you enter next month, because it might be an open category, or it might be a nature, for example, a nature category. Some will allow editing and some won't allow editing. So you've just got to be very aware of that. I'm not saying that nature does allow editing. It's seldom, but it has happened. So just be very aware of reading those salon manuals. Okay, one of the intentions of this presentation is to try and learn what works in achieving higher scores in salons and what can detract. Maritzburg Camera Club members are encouraged to enter salons from very early on. Now, I don't know if I've got my facts right, but Des and Corne, you can help me. If you want to progress from 1 to 2 star in our club, you don't need to have any salon acceptances. Am I right? But if you need to go from 2 to 3 star, you've got to have at least 2 acceptances or 2 points. Okay. So each salon will allow you so many points, but you've got to have 2 points to go 2 or something like that. Yeah. But you need salon acceptances, bottom line. If you want to go from 3 to 4 star, you need 12 points. And from 4 to 5 star, you need 40 points. Have I got those right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are for our club. But all clubs are different. So it really depends on your club that you're with. Okay. Okay, scoring range as recommended by the PSSA. When the judges score, I told you there's a maximum score of 45. So this is what is prescribed by PSSA. Disqualification is if something is entered into the wrong category. It can be DQ'd. So for example, a mono image entered into a color category or vice versa, it will be DQ'd. Okay, if it scored 7 to 8, it's not suitable for an acceptance. Okay, if it scores 9 to 10, it could be accepted. 11 to 12, it should be accepted, and 13 to 15 should win an award. That is per judge. Okay? So multiply that by 3. Okay, so if there were 1,000 images entered into a category, which is very possible, it can vary between 400 and 1,500 easily. Okay. So just think of those poor judges that are going to go through 1,500 images. Okay, about 200 or 250 will achieve acceptances. About 20 to 25 will achieve COM, Certificate of Merit. And there will be one category runner-up and there will be one category winner in any salon or any category in each salon as well. Okay. Okay, example of judging. This is quite interesting. So, for example, image 1, judge 1, judge 2, and judge 3 might give you those scores. Judge 1 score at 10, 2, 13, 3, 10 as well. And vice versa. As it goes down, each one will score differently. Those scores are all then added up, and those final scores are what ascertains whether you get an acceptance or not. And in this case, it is likely that only one image here would have been accepted.
You've got a 3 there.
Yeah.
Changed to 2 now.
Oh, has it? Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Those scores are not allowed to now have a variance of more than 2. So if one gives it 10, one gives it 12, that's acceptable, right? But if one gives it 10 and one gives it 13, then it has to be rejudged. It's got to be reassessed. Okay. But you'll see there that that score of 33 is probably an acceptance on that image. But those there are probably not accepted. Although they achieved quite well. That scored 11. But because those scored 8, it really fell down. So really, a lot has to do with the judging and how the judges see that image. Okay. All right. Okay, this is an interesting little topic here. As with all photographic judging, the judge's view is very subjective. Okay, what might be good in one salon might not be good in another. Now, this is the same image. I think we all know this image. This is from our workshop that we had. It was called Dark Night. I called it Dark Night. This is entered into 4 different salons. In the Paul salon, it got the category runner-up. It got a silver club medal. Okay. In the Kroonstad salon, it got a certificate of merit. In the Bosveld salon, it got an acceptance. But in the Nelspruit salon, it didn't even get an acceptance. So it just shows you cannot rely on, if you've got an acceptance in one salon, that it's definitely going to be accepted in another. It's just not the case. So yes, it's very disappointing in this instance to not even get an acceptance, but that is what salons are about. Okay, each judge is different, and we speak about judges shortly. I'm just saying interesting because you go from a silver medal to no acceptance in 4 different salons. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Sorry? The nature of the beast, yeah, right. Okay, every person who enters the salon is automatically partaking in what is called the Impala log. You see the Impala? Oh, see what I did? This is a log of your successes in salons and a national winner appointed at the end of each salon year. There are usually between 1,000 and 1,100 people across the country that enter salons annually. A lot of people. Talking about 1,100 people throughout the country that are entering salons during any one year. Okay, you may enter the same image into as many salons as you want, but PSSA only recognizes 3 acceptances. So you can enter it 20 times if you want to and get 20 acceptances, but PSSA will only acknowledge 3 of those, usually the first 3. After that, the image is considered stale and you need to, and they won't recognize those acceptances, those extra acceptances that you've got. Okay, right. Artificial intelligence, as far as AI goes, the PSSA has very strict rules and guidelines regarding AI images. They are not allowed. Okay, I think we know this, but please check your club's WhatsApp group. Corneille, you sent out that thing a little while ago about the PSSA and what they will allow and what they won't allow. Just check the PSSA website. That is listed there as well, but Corneille did send it to our group. It's on our club's website as well, so you can go and check it out there. Be advised that it's best you don't overstep the mark with these. You might incur the wrath of PSSA management, and it can get ugly. If you overstep the mark, it can get ugly. You can get banned from entering salons if you overstep the mark more than 3 times, Liz. Yeah. You get a letter of warning the first time, and a second letter of warning, and the third time, I think they disqualify you, and you can't enter salons. Yeah. Okay. So just
period of the year, or
I think it's for a whole year that you can't enter. I haven't been in that situation, so I'm not too sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just don't even go there. Don't try not to go there. Okay. Right. Editing and manipulation. if you are unsure of what is allowed, the salon brochure is very clear on on this matter and what you're allowed and what you're not allowed. There are two types of images that can be submitted to salons: images where only limited editing is allowed, and images where all editing is allowed. That's the same with our club. It's no different. Okay. The following editing is allowed for all and every image, no matter the category: removal of dust spots, okay, that are on your sensor, cropping and composing, color balancing, light balancing, all the stuff that we know as full editing is allowed for certain categories. Oh, sorry, these are limited editing, I beg your pardon. As we call it, limited editing. Okay. Okay, limited editing is only editing allowed in the following categories: all nature categories, which would include nature no birds and nature birds only, so it's only those, and any photographic photojournalism image, example, sport or street. So Jay's images that he was showing just now, he can't remove pixels and move pixels. He can crop, he can lighten and darken, he can remove dust spots on his sensor, but that's about it. Yeah, sure. No, I'm just getting that as an example. Yeah. So just be aware that sometimes you can't change. In these categories, no pixels may be moved. This means you may not move or remove the grass in front of the lion's nose. It might be a fantastic image, and there's a bit of grass in front of the lion's eye or nose or whatever, and if it's there, it's there. You can't move it. You can move it and enter that image into an open category. That is acceptable, but it cannot be entered into a nature category if that's the case. Okay. Right, full editing. When full editing is allowed, you may use all editing available in your software. If you add photographic elements from another photograph, that source photo must be captured by yourself as well. So you can use two of your own images to create an image, but you may not use an image, one of yours and one from somebody else or from the internet. Okay. Under no circumstances may you use AI images off the internet, or any image taken by any other person. All editing must be done by yourself as well. Okay, so just be aware of that. You can't get somebody else to edit for you and then enter it under your name. Okay, categories where full editing is usually around: open categories, scapes, portraiture, creative or photo art. But people beware. It doesn't sometimes scape, although most times it is all editing allowed, sometimes they don't allow it. And be careful, because if you enter it and they want your image, your original image from you because you're a prize winner, and they found that you've edited, you will be disqualified. Just be very careful. Like I said, this is not always a given. This is why it is so important to read that brochure. Things that must be carefully looked at before submitting an image to a salon: manipulation rules. So those rules that we've just spoken about: composition and cropping, oversaturation, overprocessing, digital noise, focusing, all the things that we know in club competition are very much stronger emphasized in a salon. So you need to be aware of those things. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, just some disastrous examples. These images were from a salon that I judged some time ago, but you see that's very oversaturated. So none of these images got acceptances. This is sort of like a double exposure. There's two images going on here, or the ship is moving, or something's happening there. You see this white line across the horizon? Immediately over processed. And if you look at this image, those elements there are completely degraded. They're completely soft and completely, sorry. Yeah, it's just over processed, and these sort of things don't achieve acceptances. Right. The science of getting salon acceptances and science, but yeah. If you have any doubts about the quality of the image that you are submitting, ask for a second opinion on it. Okay, somebody in the club will help you. 4 eyes, like I say, are always better than 2. If in doubt, don't enter it. Your first instincts are always the ones to listen to. So if you feel the composition is not quite right, but you'll just take a chance. The chances are that those judges are a little bit more qualified than you are, and they're going to bomb you. They're going to chuck it out, basically. So are you prepared to waste that 14 Rand if you're not a PSSA member? Just be aware of that. Okay. Just be aware that those judges don't miss anything. If there's a problem, they will see it. Okay. Familiarize yourself with all salon acceptances. See which people are submitting what images. When you have identified a person or a judge and their style preference, hone in on that. For example, Shalane Gerber and Martin Dudley, they do a lot of altered reality images. So if you are entering a salon where altered reality is the category you're entering, and they are the judges, you know they are experts. They're real experts at that sort of stuff. So it might be a style that you like, it might be a style that they like of yours, it might be play in your favor. But just be aware that some judges hone in on certain styles, and you might want to sidestep certain judges or hone in on certain judges. It's up to you. Now, I say there, sorry, familiarize yourself with salon acceptances. I have spoken to Corneille, and I do speak about it here just now, is every salon, once you've entered a salon, you get sent salon slideshows, or they call them catalogs. So you get a slideshow of all the accepted salon acceptances for that particular salon. That is a really great thing to look at, because then you can see what quality is acceptable and what quality is not acceptable. You don't see those bad ones, but you see the good ones. And I've actually spoken to Corneille to actually every now and again show one of those categories here at club, maybe after our meetings. Our meetings finish at 8:30. We can spend half an hour checking out one of those categories, and we can all learn such a lot from what has been accepted, and you can see what's acceptable. Okay. Right. It may be worth your while to enter every salon, like I said, to get those salon results. Check out the judges we've just spoken about. If it's a club first-time salon, the probability of you getting acceptance is a little bit higher, because they usually have a slightly lower standard. I'm not saying that your images are bad, but it might mean that you just have a little bit more leeway. Okay. Read and reread every salon brochure. I can't tell you that enough. Salons can vary. Make sure that you never underpay on a salon. All your images will be disqualified if you do. So if you need to pay 110 Rand and you only pay them 100 Rand, they're going to say, they will usually contact you and ask you for that extra 10 Rand. But if you don't pay it, they're going to disqualify all your images. Even if you've only underpaid by a couple of Rands, they usually disqualify the whole lot. So just be aware of that. If you're not clear about something, contact the salon director as per the brochure, or somebody in the club, okay? Or one of our club members. Right, some views about better images. This was done by Kurt Murray. He was the Impala Trophy winner in 12, 13, and 2014. Calibrate your monitor. Make sure that your monitor is showing you the right colors, the right clarity, the right density, etc., etc. View images on a big screen if you can. The bigger the screen, the better. Check critically for over sharpening. View in 200% if you can. If there are any halos, then it's been overdone. I showed you that image just now with the halo along the horizon. Probably overdone in post-processing. Okay. Check the histogram for clogged blacks and blown whites. Fix it in levels. Don't overdo shadow and highlight adjustments. Example, HDR. Avoid selective colorization and saturation. Don't artificially blur backgrounds. Beware of poor cloning technique where it is allowed. Don't over or under vignette. Okay, and in the nature categories, it's not allowed to put vignettes on images. In the open category, it is, but they have to be really subtle. Don't fiddle too much. Edit and then review the next day. That's a very, very interesting point, because very often you would sit and edit and you've got your mind set on something and you think it's wonderful. You open it the next day and what was I thinking? It's just not right. So always try and review it on another date, another time. Keep it natural and simple. Be less is more, and then ask others' opinions if you need to. Okay. Okay, this is just an interesting point. When it comes to naming your images, now, this is a technique that I have employed for myself. How you do it is totally up to you. Okay, it is never a good idea to change the original 8 characters of the camera number of the file. In other words, this number here, that number that comes straight out of your camera, I would advise never change that. People say, oh yeah, but it needs a new name. Yes, it needs a new name, all well and good. But I'll talk about this in a moment. but it is a good idea to add an explanation character at the end of the name. And here is why. Okay, when you add characters at the end of the name, oh, that was well, it's now dead. When you add a character at the end of the name, Windows will still sort those images into automatic order. And they'll be placed next to each other. This makes life so much simpler. Now, if you look at those images in that block, the original image was called IMG underscore 3003. Okay. Right. I then did my first edits on that image. I changed the original image, which had different colors. I did all sorts of things to it, and I saved it as 3003-1. I'll speak about these in a moment. Then I changed it again. I sized it and I called it -2, and I sized it again and called it -3, and I sized it for a third time and called it -4. And I'll tell you what those are in a moment. All right. But when I save those images in the same place, Windows is saving the IMG 3003, and it will all be listed one below each other. If you change those first couple of characters, it now puts your image in a completely different order. I don't know how many people I've had to go and ask, I've edited my image and now it's gone. Can't find it. Yeah, because you changed its name. So that's why it's not where you thought it would be. Okay. So I would advise never change those images, those names there. Okay. Right. Right. It's a very good idea to use a standard naming format for all files. In other words, I have a way that makes pure sense to me, and it means at a glance, I know what is going on, and I say use it or lose it. Do you see this block in the middle shows my images all one below each other? They're sorted in the Windows order. Now, what does the 1, 2, 3, and 4 mean? IMG at the bottom. IMG 3003 is the original raw file straight out of the camera, which in my case is CR3 format. Okay. IMG 3003-1, if I call it -1, it's my first edit. That's where I've done the most editing. I've prepared it, but I save it in the PSD format, the Word format, Photoshop format. It's a really large file, but that is my original edit. It's got a -1 after it. If I've named it with -2, it means I've saved it in the 1024 by 768 file size, and that's a JPEG format. Okay. If I've saved it as 3003-3, it means I've saved it in some strange form. You might be entering some salon somewhere that wants them in a particular size. So I'd save it and call it 3003-3. And if I save it as 3003-4, it's now saved as a 1920 by 1080 file size, which is ready for any competition. So I've got the original first edit, and I've got it here in 3 different sizes. Might be a bit of an overkill. You might not need those. But I just find that keeping to that format, 1 as being my first edit, 2 as being the small size, 3 is a odd size, and 4 being the club competition size. And if I check any image, if I look at those in the block at the top, 3003-4, I know it's an image that's ready for club. Okay, makes life so much easier to find things if you do it in a formatted way. Okay, right. If you'll have a look there, the original 3003 CR3, that was the image initially as it came out the camera. Okay. Then I did 3003-1, so that was all the editing I did. You see, I changed the colors, I put a vignette on it, I cleaned it up, cropped it, whatever, and I saved it with a -1. Then I saved it again with a specific size, a 1024 by 768 size, and I called that -2. Then I saved it with some odd size. You see, it's 2000 by 1641. That would be a -3, which I very seldom use. And then the -4 size is the size that I use for club. And you see that the size is 1316 by 1080. And that would be, in this case, JPEG format, and I call that -4. So anything on my computer, if I look for anything with the -4, I know it's ready to be submitted to club or any competition. Salons as well. Okay. Right, so that's just a file manager of a whole lot of files in a disk, and you see the five files that I'm talking about are all listed one under each other. Makes life so much easier to find things, because otherwise you'll end up searching your backside off to try and find where your files are. Okay. Right, as far as PhotoVault goes, when you open PhotoVault and you want to enter a salon, these blue buttons on the left-hand side, that shows you, well, firstly, each blue block is a different salon, okay? Shows you the salon and it gives you the closing dates. Yes, the closing date is there as well. If you want to participate in the salon, you click on the button on the left. If you want to download the brochure, you click on the button on the right-hand side. And each button will download each different salon's brochure. Okay. Up-and-coming salons, I think Mark has just had some fair success in the up-and-coming salons. I think there are usually 4 of them, am I right? 3 or 4 of them a year. Is it 2?
One of the months, another one of
Okay, there are a couple of them. Sorry, my facts are not 100% correct here. But they are free. They are aimed at juniors, in other words, 3-star or below. The entry is free, and it's a wonderful way to start your salon journey, because the judging standard is also a little bit more lenient. So it's not so drastically down the line. Okay, so it's just keep a watch on PVO for that, and you'll see those. I think there's an up-and-coming salon fairly soon. Is it now? When is it? This weekend. Yeah. So those are free. Make use of it, because it can save you quite a lot of money. Okay. Each salon is unique. All right. We've spoken about that. Cost of the salon we've spoken about. Most salons have 6 categories. All categories must be paid, and fees. Okay. Fees are due by EFT, and the proof of payment gets attached to the final entry before finalization. We'll talk about that shortly again. Okay, tips in preparing or choosing images of a salon. On the computer create. Now, this is an interesting point, and it's debatable. This is also just the way I do things. On my computer, I create a folder with the name of the salon, and I just copy it off PhotoVault. Whatever the name is there, I just copy and paste it. I create a folder with that name, okay? In this case, Durban Camera Club Salon. In that main folder, create subfolders for each category you want to enter. And the tip, name the category the exact name is in the brochure. So open the brochure and I copy the name out of the brochure. And you see in this instance, nature birds only, manipulation is not allowed, color. So that's with the name of my folder. So I don't have to keep referring to the brochure after that, because I know exactly what's allowed. I know that it's color, and I know that manipulation is allowed or not allowed. And I create those 6 folders. All right. The reason for this is so that you have all that info that you need. And then now drop potential appropriate images into each of these folders, even if you're still undecided. The best ones will always rise to the top, and we'll talk about that shortly. So I might go look for some images, and I'll put those in open, I'll put those in mono, I'll put those in nature, blah, blah, blah. They're just potential. So it's just the way I'm thinking, and I go and put them there. It helps to not to have to go searching for everything all the time. Okay. Right. Look very critically at your intended submissions. Test your image at club level. Okay. If it did not receive a Gold or Merit Award at club competition, think twice about using it in a salon. Not going to say it's not going to get an acceptance, but be careful. If a judge has made comments on how to improve your image, take that advice to heart. It may not be 100% accurate, but the judge has seen something that you might have missed. Okay. Potentially re-edit your image, keeping the advice in mind, and upload again to PhotoVault, but do not change the PhotoVault name. People, really important. Do not ever change the PhotoVault name. So if you've uploaded it once and it's called lion feeding, if you've edited it, you put it back and it's lion feeding again. All right. But then that creates problems. Which is the right one? And I'll talk about that shortly. Okay. Never even contemplate using the image that has some sort of technical fault. And we've spoken about that underneath there. Okay. Thousands of ordinary images are entered in salons. The judges have a huge and arduous task. You need to capture the attention of those judges. Remember, the judges, you're not there to explain why you took the image or what it's about. It must be relevant. Try and use images that tell a strong story. In South Africa, the nature categories are hotly contended and are very strong. So your entries have to be exceptional to succeed in the nature category. Okay, so try and tell a strong story. Right. As a new salon participant, now I'm talking about new participants here, people who have entered salons often, maybe old hat to them. You obviously need to do this. Now, what I've got here is I've got one of those folders open, that potential salon folders open, and I've put 6 mono images into that into that folder. I beg your pardon. Once you've chosen your potential entries, go to PhotoVault and search on each image to determine its salon history. Now I've told you it's only allowed 3 acceptances. So why enter it a 4th time? If you've got 3 acceptances already, you're wasting your money to enter it into another salon. Okay? So even if you think it's a good image, it's not going to be acceptable. So just don't do it. Don't skip this because you can get into serious trouble as well. Okay. Right. Things you need to know before you check these. No image may be awarded more than 3 acceptances, we've spoken about. You may upload the image more than once. You might have edited after the first upload. We'll show you an example now. But you may never change the PhotoVault name of your image once uploaded. Is that what your problem was with your letter, Des? You changed the name or something, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you know what? The salon judges and the salon managers have software to check on all sorts of things. If you've edited something that's not allowed to be edited, they find it. If you've used your image in their salon in the previous year, it's a Durban salon in the previous year, you entered it this year, but you entered it last year as well, they will nail you. So be careful. Yeah. Then you're cheating. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't search to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may not edit, we've spoken about. If an image is or entered into the incorrect category, it'll be DQ'd. Most of the rules are very severe, and if you're found breaking them, you'll get a letter of warning from the PSSA. After 3 such letters, you will be banned from entering salons. I think it's for a year, but don't take the chance. Okay, how to check your PVO details. Okay, so when you open PVO, you can check on My PhotoVault. Okay, go to your potentials folder, the one where you dropped your images. Select only the name of the image. You just right click on it and select the name. And in this case, that was called 1743. The other info at the bottom, we've spoken about what the 4 means, and I've just put mono there as well because there's a color version of it. So you just select the 1743, IMG 1743, yeah. Okay, do one of the following. Now, you see there's 2 blocks in the middle. In this instance, we're calling the image is called Dragon Portrait, and the IMG number is _MG, you see it there, all right? So you can post or paste the name or the number, one or the other, of that image, and you will then get an explanation of where that image has been used and what the success was. So it's a very good idea to do this. I'm not saying you have to, but you could land up running into trouble. Okay. Okay, if you just have a look, do you see the 2 images on the right? Do you see the black arrows are pointing at the name? They're both called Dragon Portraits. I've loaded them as Dragon Portraits in PhotoVault. And the red arrows differentiate the name of the original image that I called an IMG, blah, blah, blah. And after that, I put some detail. So you see the top one was reworked mono Dragon Portrait, and the bottom one says 4-1. You see the 2 different names. Heidi, that answers your question. That's how you can now differentiate which one you are using. On the right-hand side, the 2 pictures you can see are quite different, but sometimes once you've edited, it might not be as obvious as that. And you could sometimes really battle to find the right image to use. So it's always a good idea to check those. Yeah, all right. And at the bottom, you'll see in both instances, it says it's been used in 2 competitions, both of them. Okay. So if you click on where was it used, the black arrows, you will see it's been used in 2 competitions each. And yeah, it's been used. Yeah, it's been used in two competitions. Each one of them has been used twice. And there, the dragon portrait at the top and dragon portrait at the bottom. So there's your two images. And you'll see that the top one was accepted at the SPC salon, and the bottom one was accepted at the Kroonstad salon, and the others were not accepted. So although I've got it uploaded twice, it's still the same image, and I've got two acceptances. So I can only use it once again. Well, assuming that I'm going to get acceptance. I put it this way, I can only get one more acceptance on it, whichever one I use. Okay. Okay, another very important reason for doing this is to check so that you never enter the same image into the clubs, the same club salon. We've spoken about that. Okay. Okay, hopefully it is now clearer why you must keep a very close check on your admin process, and that you start off with potential entries into your folders. These might change as you check PVO details. When you have checked all the details, it should leave you with your four, or make the choice to have your, and you'll see what I do there is I actually put the name that I put in PhotoVault onto the title of each image. So I've got IMG, the number, and it's called the Vortex, Wacky Poppy, Deranged, and the final, what? The Ballet Grace. And then I also add in there the acceptance, the name that it has been accepted. So at a glance, I can open that folder for that salon, and I've got everything there in front of me. I can find exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so at the bottom is just give those names, right? Okay, now when you enter your proof of payment, you do your EFT in the salon, the proof of payment details are there, or the payment details are there. You then choose file, okay? You make sure that you're choosing Maritzburg Camera Club, obviously, as your preferred club. And then you choose your file and you just attach it there. It gives you place to attach it. And then you finalize or refinalize your entry at the bottom right-hand side. So that is then your salon entries completed. Right, just this is what is inside my Durban CC folder. Remember, I created the Durban salon folder. I've got the 6 categories, and inside those 6 categories, those 6 folders, are the images that I used. I've got the slideshows after the end of the salon results, and they send you the slideshows. I drop them in there as well. I've got a document showing my entry confirmation. I've got the brochure into that folder. I've got the results as they're posted to me, and I've got my proof of payment listed there as well. So at any point, I can open one folder, and I've got everything I need for that salon in one folder. Okay. Right. That's it. And all those presentations. Okay.
So these
14th of the 3rd.
56.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One next year, one next
One,
year.
okay. 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 So the up and coming, you've missed that for this year. The next one is March. Okay. Any questions, people?
The question was how much memory Leon has on his computer for all of this.
Look, keeping those 5 files is probably a bit of an overkill. But I do like to keep the -1 file as my original edit. I don't often keep the -2 file, and I don't often keep the -3 file. But I do keep the -4 because that's the one that I enter for all competitions. But whatever you name them, but just try and keep some sort of format so that you can easily find things. Because it's a nightmare, and especially as I'm not saying we're new users, but as a new user, you will find that you go around in square circles trying to find things. So if you create some sort of format for yourself, it's then very easy to find things and very easy to locate what you're looking for.
That thing, remember that you see them on the little screen?
Yeah.
You see them on the big screen?
Yeah,
So you see all the errors?
yeah,
And these about images, you know, 900, and it's quite a pretty image. We are tired, we are human beings, and you see another pretty image, actually, and you just get 7.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know.
Just like I said earlier. Yeah. There's this comment there. I don't know if the people online heard that. The judges by image number 1,227 out of 1,500, the judges are tired by then. So any little thing grabs their attention, and you could
Be marked down.
be marked down by it. So be careful to make sure that you only give your best. And if there are faults, like I did mention earlier, if there are faults, any faults whatsoever, make sure that you correct them if you're allowed to, or just don't enter them. Because the judges are going to see them, and they get, and when they're shown on the big screen is as the judges see them, a little hair becomes a big hair. So it's very much more visible on a big screen. So just be aware of that. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone online that has
Yeah.
questions? Everyone
Hi,
just saying thank you.
hi, afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Leon, with regards to that three acceptance rule, do you
Yes.
get penalized if you go above? So let's say you have like a photo that you really like,
Yeah.
and you submit it into 8 or 9, and you get acceptances. Will you get penalized for that, or
You
does
don't
it
get
just not count
penalized.
points?
You won't get penalized for it, but you just won't get any recognition for it. So you really are wasting your money. Why enter it for a fourth or fifth or sixth time, and you're not going to get any recognition? So you only get recognition for your first 3. So after let me tell you, they do, because last year I was edited. They audited me. They wanted certain images, and they wanted to know how many times I'd entered those images. And I had to produce the images. I had to produce the originals and the original names and all sorts of things, and show how many times I've had acceptances on those. So, anybody can be audited at any time. So if they find you've got 4, they're just going to say, sorry, we only accept 3, and they just discard the 4th one. It's not worth entering it.
That's for the Impala.
Well, it links to the Impala.
And also for clubs. So we work on 3 acceptances per photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even at club level, we work only on the 3.
So it won't go into your points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
only 3.
Yeah. Okay. Any more
Okay.
questions? Does that answer your question, Jay?
Yeah, sure.
I was Nyasha,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, it does answer my question, but as a follow-up to that, when you
Yes.
say you don't get recognition, does that mean that when you're entering it for like the 4th or the 5th time, or any time after the 3rd time, you won't get awards or?
That's a very interesting point. I don't know. So, for example, you've had 3 acceptances, and the 4th acceptance, you get a medal, for example. I don't know what happens in that instance.
Medal.
It still doesn't count to your points. It still doesn't account to your Impala log trophy and things like that.
Mm.
Yeah. It's only the first 3 that they. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard what Des said there, and it's quite an important topic, that sometimes you might enter it into a 4th salon because you haven't got the results of the 3rd salon yet. So if you get a 3rd salon's results, so you've now had 3 acceptances, you've already now entered it into the next salon, you might land up getting a 4th salon acceptance. That one just falls away.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just your bad luck.
So, but it's still for that salon.
It's still accepted for that salon. Yeah.
So if you don't care much about the Impala trophy,
But
you take a chance and enter it everywhere.
in club, you won't get a recognition for it in club either. So you don't gain anything from it, from entering it a 4th time or getting a 4th
Getting it
result.
out there.
Yeah, if you had entered 3 and the 3rd one doesn't get accepted, then that 4th one stands the chance of getting that 3rd acceptance, obviously. Insurance, yeah. But I've had it before where I've had 2 acceptances and I've entered it in 2 more salons, and then I get both acceptances in those 2 salons as well. So sometimes that happens. Not intentionally. If I knew I was going to get a 3rd salon, I wouldn't have entered it in the 4th one. But sometimes that happens. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
In terms of renaming your
Yes.
images and
Yeah.
so you, like the one that you said, Mana.
Yes.
And
Any-
then you're renaming your image. You're just
Okay.
not allowed to.
No, that's the image that comes out the camera. That's not the photovolt image. The photovolt name. The photovolt name, I called that Dragon Portrait. And I've uploaded it twice, but it's still called Dragon Portrait in both instances. But the original name that came out of your camera, you can change as much as you want to, because that is not registered anywhere. It's only listed there so that you can identify which is which. But don't change the photovolt name. Okay, there's a difference between those two. Yeah, if you change the photovolt name and I also was edited 1 year where I had two names that were very similar. And they thought it was the same image, that I've changed the one image with two different names. They wanted to know, where's those two images? Make sure that they're two different images. So, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Leon. We appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us and yeah, just sharing all this information, especially I think for people that hasn't entered a lot of salons and that's a very unsure field, definitely opens up a bit of uncertainty. Okay.